I think this is probably one of the hardest questions that I have to answer, and I think it's one of the hardest questions that everybody in politics has to look at today, in that people just aren't engaged in politics. They're not involved in politics. And we have a national election, we get less than 33 or 34% out to vote. 3 out of 10 vote. And then they complain that this didn't go right and that didn't go right, And since I have thrown my hat in the ring for this position, I've been very active in going to city commission meetings, zoning and planning meetings, the steering committee meetings for the convention center development downtown. I've met with the Educational Development Corporation, and I've learned what these people are doing. And the average person just doesn't know what they're doing and what a positive role they're having on Owensboro, Kentucky. And the reason they don't, because they don't have time to go to these meetings. They can't take off from the job and go learn what's happening. But when you do, you get a tremendous amount of confidence in what's happening here, because we've got some wonderful people in some wonderful positions that are making a great inroads in moving this community forward. Now, transparency. I would like to see, one thing I would think might work is getting people, if we had an information officer in the city, I don't know if we have that position or not, but I think it's important enough for someone, and we have so much information going on, that someone would be coordinating with the newspaper and the TVs and the radios and the websites, coordinating this information, and also that person will be going to civil gone blank here, the Rotary and the Kiwanis Club and civic organizations, civic organizations on a regular basis, and updating those folks on what's going on. In other words, I think that's kind of force feed perhaps to people, because people come to me, well, I didn't know that was going on. Well, I want to say, how much have you tried to find out about what's going on? Except the negative side, it's all wrong. But I just think that's a big thing we have to do. I think the city commission has tried. The city commission meetings are open. I think that we have, however, for whatever reason, we have created an atmosphere where the people feel like that at times going to the city commission, the decisions are made, what I say doesn't count, and we can't have that. I mean, we've got to have a program and a format that when the people speak, we listen and we take what they say into consideration, and they know we've considered it, because that is a negative thing when a guy gets up and speaks and then he's told immediately that that's not going to happen. That's just a bad thing to have to go through with. Maybe that's the only format we can use, but I hope we can find a more softer, more general way to do that.
Is the public information officer, like you mentioned, I mean, is that your main avenue to explain the decision-making process to folks? I mean, is that, how do you counteract that perception that the decisions have already been made behind closed doors, and it's just
I think there are two processes there. One is the process to try to convince the people and show the people that the government is open-minded. We are taking your thoughts into consideration, and then getting into the community and getting that information out there on a daily basis as what's going on, what's happening, taking the pulse of the people. And I also think that this could go into the schools too, particularly into the high schools, and get these high school students involved in what's happening in my community. Have some time set aside that perhaps this person from the city would go into the schools and tell these young adults what's happening in your community. A lot of those kids get involved. They'll go home and tell mom and dad, by the way, mom and dad, did you know this is what's going on downtown? Okay? And when the kids talk, mom and dad listens. McDonald's found that out a long time ago.